Today, I'm going to tell you the story of Leo's fixed toy. Get yourselves all cozy and open up your ears wide for this wonderful tale. Leo absolutely loved building make-believe worlds. In the backyard, every tree root turned into a towering mountain, and every puddle became a mighty ocean. His wooden truck, Pompom, was his most loyal adventure buddy. Together, they'd haul loads of sparkling pebbles and colorful leaves, like precious treasures. Leo would whisper his secret plans to Pompom, completely sure that his little truck understood every single one. It felt like nothing could ever stop them. Their favorite playground was the big vegetable patch right behind the house. The rows of lettuce became mysterious forests, and the tall tomato stakes turned into dizzying skyscrapers. Pompom carefully rumbled along the dirt paths, steering clear of wandering slugs and waving hello to busy ladybugs. The air smelled wonderfully of fresh mint and damp earth after a good rain shower. It truly was the most magnificent kingdom in the whole wide world. In the evenings, the whole family gathered in the cozy living room. Dad, Arjun, would read a story to Maya and Noah, while Mom, Anya, whipped up some hot cocoa that filled the room with its sweet smell. Leo, sitting on the rug, would take Pompom on one last spin before parking him for the night. He loved these sweet moments when his siblings' giggles blended with his dad's comforting voice. It was his home base. "Dad, do you think Pompom likes stories about knights?" Leo asked, looking up at his father. Arjun gave him a knowing wink. "I'm sure of it, buddy. I bet he dreams about slaying dragons and guarding treasure." Leo hugged his truck tight, his heart swelling with pride. His dad always understood everything. He was his best friend and his biggest fan. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the leaves of the big oak tree. Leo had built an awesome jump using an old wooden board propped up against a crate. Pompom was ready for his biggest stunt yet, a death-defying leap over the lavender patch. "Ready for takeoff?" Leo shouted, his voice bubbling with excitement. He held his breath, ready to send his trusty sidekick flying toward glory. He gave it a little nudge. Pompom zoomed down the ramp, his wheels whirring against the wood. Vroom! The little truck soared into the air, hovering for a split second over the purple flowers. Leo's jaw dropped, mesmerized by the perfect flight. It was even better than he'd imagined. He watched as the truck began to descend, expecting a smooth landing on the soft grass. Everything seemed perfect. But the landing wasn't so smooth. Instead of hitting the grass, Pompom slammed into a large, hidden rock. Crack! A sharp, awful sound echoed through the quiet morning. Everything went still. Leo's heart skipped a beat. That wasn't the happy sound of a successful stunt. It was a sad sound, the sound of something breaking for good. An uneasy silence settled over the backyard. Leo ran over to his truck. One of the wheels was lying next to the frame, and the wooden axle had snapped right in half. Pompom was broken. Really broken. A big lump formed in Leo's throat. His eyes filled with tears, making the colors of the yard go all blurry. His best friend, his partner in adventure, was hurt. He'd never be able to roll again. The adventure was over. He gently picked up the pieces of his toy. The wheel looked so useless without its axle, and the truck seemed so empty and sad. He clutched the broken bits in his hands, feeling the splintered wood against his fingers. It was all his fault. He never should have built that ramp so high and dangerous. A wave of anger and sadness washed over him. He glared at the wooden board, the mean old thing responsible for this whole disaster. With tears streaming down his face, he scrambled up and bolted toward the house. "Dad, Dad," he sobbed, throwing open the workshop door. Arjun, who was busy sanding a shelf, turned around in surprise. He saw his son's tear-streaked face and the broken pieces of wood held out in his hands. His expression softened instantly. Setting his tools aside, he knelt down to Leo's level, his eyes filled with gentle concern. "Oh boy," Arjun said in a soothing voice. "Let's take a look and see what happened to our friend Pompom." He carefully took the pieces and laid them out on his big wooden workbench. Sunlight streamed through the window, making the dust motes dance in the air. The workshop smelled of fresh pine and sawdust. Arjun examined the break closely. The axle is snapped, but I think we've got just what we need right here." Arjun pulled out a small jar of wood glue and a fine paintbrush. "Here you go, Leo. Try to put just a little bit of glue on both sides of the axle, he explained. You have to be very careful. Leo took the brush, his hands shaking just a bit. He tried to brush on the glue, but he used way too much. The white glue glopped onto his fingers, making everything sticky. This was much harder than he'd imagined. Hang on, let me help you out, Arjun offered kindly. He wiped off Leo's fingers and helped him hold the two pieces together. They squeezed them tight for what felt like a long time. But as soon as they let go, the axle fell apart again. The brake was too clean. The glue just wasn't enough. Leo felt a wave of discouragement wash over him. He let out a heavy sigh. It was no use. It's not working. Leo wailed, his voice trembling. It's broken forever. He turned away from the workbench, ready to give up. He gave a little with shaving a frustrated kick. What was the point of even trying? Pompom would never roll again, never go on another adventure. The thought of leaving his friend like this broke his heart. He slumped onto a stool, chin in his hands, staring miserably at the floor. Arjun didn't say anything for a moment. He reached for a small metal tin filled with screws and nails of all different sizes. He picked out one that was very thin and very long. Sometimes, glue needs a friend to help it stay strong, he said softly. Look, maybe we can reinforce the fix with something else. What do you think? He showed Leo how the little nail could act just like a splint. Leo looked at the nail, then up at his dad. He wasn't so sure about this. It looked even trickier than using glue. What if he missed and hit his thumb? Or what if it would split even more? Doubt was written all over his face. He hesitated, biting his lip. He wanted more than anything to fix Pompom, but he was scared he'd mess it up again. This felt like a job for a grown-up, not for someone like him. I know what you're thinking, Arjun whispered. You're afraid you can't do it. That's okay. The first time I ever used a hammer, I bent every single nail. But do you know what really matters? Not giving up. We're going to do this together as a team. I'll hold the nail steady, and you can give it a little tap with a small hammer. How does that sound? His voice was so encouraging that Leo felt a tiny spark of courage flicker back to life. Leo gave a shy little nod. The idea of working side by side with his dad gave him a boost of hope. He stepped closer to the workbench. Arjun positioned the nail with expert precision, holding it firmly between his thumb and forefinger. He handed Leo a small, lightweight hammer that fit perfectly in his hand. Go ahead, nice and easy. Tap it right here, he said, pointing. Leo's heart started to race just a little bit faster. Leo raised the hammer. He squeezed his eyes shut and tapped. The sound wasn't nearly as loud as he'd expected, but when he opened his eyes, he saw the nail was crooked. Oh no, he'd ruined everything. Don't you worry about that, Arjun said right away. That's just what we call a shy nail. It's a little nervous to go in straight. We'll just pull it out and try again. He plucked the nail out with his pliers. No scolding, just a warm smile. Patience is the most important tool in a repairman's kit, Arjun explained. Ready to give it another shot? This time, Leo kept his eyes wide open. He focused hard, aimed for the head of the nail, and swung. Tap. A little better. Tap. A little more. Tap, tap, tap. With every little hit, the nail sank in a bit straighter and a bit deeper. He could feel his dad's steady hand guiding his every move. Before long, the nail was holding the two pieces of the axle firmly together. It looked great. There we go. Arjun cheered. Now, all that's left is to put the wheel back on. He showed Leo how to slide the wheel onto the fixed axle and then how to secure it with a little pin so it wouldn't pop off again. Leo watched every step with wide, bright eyes. He was actually doing it. He understood everything. It's your turn for the finishing touch, Arjun said, handing him the tiny cotter pin. Leo took it between his fingers. It was such a small piece, but it was incredibly important. With total focus, he slid it into the little hole at the end of the axle. Click. It was in place. The wheel held perfectly. It spun freely, just like before, maybe even better than before. Leo set Pompom down on the workshop floor. The moment of truth had arrived. He gave it a gentle nudge. The truck rolled. It rolled straight as an arrow, without a single wobble. All four wheels were spinning in perfect harmony. Leo gave it a harder push. The truck zipped across the shop, darting between the legs of the workbench before coming to a soft stop against the wall. It was fixed. It actually worked. A huge grin spread across Leo's face. He couldn't believe it. He'd done it. Well, they'd done it together. He turned to his dad, his eyes sparkling with pride. He hadn't given up. He'd tried again, and he'd succeeded. He felt a new warmth in his chest, a kind of confidence he'd never felt before. He was someone who could fix things. Arjun ruffled his hair. I'm so proud of you, Leo. You were patient and you stuck with it. You see, it's okay to break something. What really matters is learning how to fix it. Leo looked at his truck, then at his own hands. They weren't so clumsy after all. They could build things, but they could also mend them. It was an amazing discovery. Leo picked up his truck and gave it a big squeeze. Pompom had a little metal scar now, a badge of honor from their adventure in the workshop. It wasn't just a toy anymore, it was proof. Proof that with a little help and a lot of grit, even the biggest problems could be solved. That scar made the truck even more precious to him. He ran back out to the backyard, where Maya and Noah were playing near the veggie garden. Look, it's fixed, he shouted happily. He showed them the wheel spinning perfectly and the shiny little pin. Maya clapped her hands, and Noah looked on in awe. Did you do that yourself? Maya asked, impressed. Dad and I did. Leo replied, his heart bursting with joy. Sharing his success felt even better. This time, Leo built a smoother track for Pompom, with careful turns and a little bridge made of twigs. He didn't need dangerous jumps to have fun anymore. The most exciting part of his day hadn't been watching the truck fly through the air, but fixing it up. He told his brother and sister all about how he'd used the glue, the hammer, and the magic nail. He had become the toy doctor. When evening came, Leo set Pompom on his nightstand. The glow from his reading lamp made the head of the nail twinkle like a tiny star. Before drifting off to sleep, he patted the truck's wooden frame. It was a little scuffed up and looked a bit different, but it was tougher than before. Just like him, Leo felt older and more capable. He knew now that even when things broke, there was always a way to put them back together. Arjun quietly stepped into the room. Good night, my little handyman, he whispered as he tucked Leo Indiana. Good night, Dad. Thank you, Leo replied with a sleepy murmur. He felt safe and cozy. The faint scent of the workshop still lingered in the air, a comforting reminder of their project together. Leo closed his eyes with a tiny smile on his face and drifted off to sleep, dreaming of all the new things he could build. And just like that, our story comes to an end. If you enjoyed it, ask your grown-ups to check out another video on our channel. Until next time for more adventures.